So the South African Human Rights Commission is taking the DA's Renaldo Gouws to the Equality Court after a deleted video surfaced where he appears to be using the K and the N words. The newly sworn-in Member of Parliament has also been suspended by his party pending a probe. The video is said to have been posted 16 years ago. Gouws can be heard calling for the killing of black people. The controversial figure, who amassed an online following over the years, says the video is in response to struggle song Kill the Boer. But let's get reaction on this, and we speak now to Terry Oakley-Smith, who's the founder and CEO of Diversi-T. Terry, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I think the video certainly has done the rounds and it's resurfaced once again. I don't know if you've been able to see it or at least hear what was said in it. What was your first reaction seeing that video?
Well, it was complete horror, frankly, and great shock, and mixed with a huge shame as a white South African as well, that, you know, in 2016, people could even contemplate saying such things. I think it has set the ANC and the DA back. And one wonders how they go about vetting their members of parliament. This man, Renaldo Gouws, has a long history of really vile and unpleasant posts, and also of trolling particularly white activists on social media. So I cannot understand, you know, why he was ever, you know, allowed to join the DA if they actually are the party that they say they are, espousing the values that they have. And I would have thought that going into a government of so-called national unity, all members need to be vetted. And this Renaldo Gouws is a well-known racist. This is not, you know, a new discovery about him.
You know, what's interesting, and I've got in front of me now the statement that came out from the Democratic Alliance yesterday, and essentially it says the DA has established that the video in which Renaldo Gouws uses execrable language is in fact genuine and not fake as initially suspected. So I'm keen to hear what you think of the wording, right? Not fake as initially expected. And then, of course, there's the question around whether or not the Democratic Alliance acted swiftly. Ngaba Banga of now ANC, formerly Democratic Alliance, saying that there have been multiple complaints about Gouws previously. So what was the right response, and was this sufficient from the Democratic Alliance's point of view?
I mean, are the Democratic Alliance unable to use the word racist? Yes, the language may have been execrable, but fundamentally, it was racist. When you use a statement including the K word and the N word and other vile language that I won't say on air, that is racist. It's clearly. And I don't know why the DA haven't even said that yet. So I found that really quite disturbing. I think another problem as well, if I can say so, Naledi, is the amount of time it's taken our previous government to actually deal with these crimes. The Prevention and Combating of Hate Crimes and Hate Speech Bill, which would have dealt with this, was first promulgated in 2018. But it took until the 9th of May, almost the last gasp of the previous government in 2024, to actually pass it. So up until that date, there hasn't been any effective way to deal with this kind of hate speech. I'm glad that the Human Rights Commission is taking him to the Equality Court. But even the Equality Court took a long time to actually start working. And I'm not sure if the Equality Court is even strong enough to deal with an issue like this. I wonder how many other MPs from the DA, the ANC, I mean, because this now is a problem for the ANC as well as the DA. This is a new so-called government of national unity. So how they deal with this is going to reflect on all the parties that are now in this coalition.
You know what, you talk about this government of national unity. I think it's important because even in the formation of it, just the discussions that South Africans are having are around, you know, black power versus white power. And I wonder, in your view, if we're ready to have a discussion where we have a government that can talk about leading without race becoming a part of the discussion. I mean, essentially we're forging ahead with this, where political parties are working together. The ANC now working with the Freedom Front Plus, for instance. What are the things that they need to be guarding against, and are there systems that can be put in place to ensure that, you know, there's accountability across the board, there's respect for each other's races and cultures?
You see, I think that these things are actually embedded in our Constitution. But whether the particular political parties really, you know, also mirror what's in the Constitution in what they say and what they do is entirely another matter. And I mean, just thinking about this Renaldo Gouws affair, I mean, I think it's going to be very difficult for the DA and the ANC to work together. Renaldo Gouws also has another video posted where he talks about his hatred is probably too strong a word, but the way he despises BBEE and employment equity. Now, the Employment Equity Act was the first act passed by Mandela's government back in 1998. And if political parties haven't yet got used to that, I don't understand why they want to be in a government of national unity with such very diverse views on issues as important in South Africa as race.
The difficulty here as well is that you've got Renaldo Gouws saying that, well, this video has come out in response to the singing of Kill the Boer. I mean, how do you make sense of that? What do we do about that? Because that's also a talking point.
You know, I don't think there's any comparison between the singing of a freedom song, which was part and parcel of the struggle long before the EFF was even formed, and a white man making racist, vile racist comments openly on social media. The Kill the Boer song, whether one likes it or not, is a struggle song. It's in an entirely different category from a white man deciding to suggest that Black South Africans should be killed. I mean, really, Naledi, when I look at us as white South Africans, we are so lucky. We got off scot-free after apartheid. There was no kind of redress for us. We just could carry on living our lives the way we always had, and sometimes even better. Hate speech is something, racist speech is something so painful that I don't think we understand properly. We're quick to say, oh, I didn't mean that. I wouldn't say that now, without recognizing that it's not our intention that's important. It's how does it impact a Black person? How a Black person watching that video must have felt extremely pained. It's a horrible, painful experience. And yet for us, we can just brush it away and say, oh, well, it was in 2016 and the man's apologized. It's not good enough.
You know, we have this discussion similarly when we talk about gender-based violence in the country, and we say, well, men need to be doing more, men need to be saying more, and that this can't be a battle only for the women or the victims. How do we spark a conversation where in South Africa we say, even white South Africans, don't excuse the behavior of someone like a Renaldo Gouws who uses the K word? Does that discussion even happen?
You know, it is beginning to happen, and I don't think it's a case of even white South Africans. We as white South Africans should be leading the charge. We should all be speaking out. We should be coming together, and there is an attempt we're getting people together to say that we do not stand with Renaldo Gouws. We want him expelled from Parliament and any others of his ilk. We want Parliament to vet every single MP to make sure that there are no other racists hidden there in other parties. So I think it's extremely important that we as whites do lead the charge in this case.
Teresa, always a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you so much for making time for us.